You ever have one of those moments where you feel something shift, but you don't know what yet? That was me. Boise Airport, Wednesday night. Staring at the departure board like it owed me money. I was third on the standby list for the last flight home. And honestly, I didn't think I'd make it. My name's Edward. 52. I just finished negotiating the biggest deal of my life. Me and my two sisters, God bless them, but they're not exactly business sharks. We finally sold our green tech company. Something our dad built from scratch back when solar panels were considered hippie junk. Took us decades to get it right, but we did. It wasn't Google money, but it was enough. I'd be walking away with just over 10 million. Clean. Plus a consultant deal for a couple of years, if I wanted it. Enough to breathe easier. Maybe even take my wife, Natalie, on that damn Italy trip she kept talking about. So yeah, I was in a good mood. Exhausted, sure, but satisfied. I didn't call Natalie yet. Figured I'd surprise her if I made it on the flight. That, and honestly, I wanted to hear the deal was done before I made it some emotional homecoming. You know how it is, counting chickens and all that. I was nursing my second gin and tonic at the bar, watching people board the plane without me, when the little miracle happened. Ding. My name popped up on the list. I didn't even finish the drink. Tossed some cash on the bar, waved at the bartender, grabbed my bag, and practically sprinted to the gate. "Mr. Barrett?" the agent called as I jogged up. "We had a no-show. First class, seat 2A. I smiled like an idiot. First class. Hell yes. It felt like a sign. Like the universe was finally cashing in some of the good I'd put into it. Sat down, ordered one more GNT, because why not, and leaned back. I was asleep before we left the ground. Next thing I know, the wheels hit the runway. Hard. Woke me right up. I didn't bother renting a car. My truck was still parked at the Boise airport, but I was too damn tired to drive. Grabbed a cab, told him my address, and zoned out. That ride, man, I wish I'd stayed asleep. When we pulled up to the house, something didn't feel right. The porch light was off. Natalie usually left it on if she knew I'd be home. But hey, it was past midnight. Maybe she just forgot. Then I saw the car. A silver Lexus. New model. Parked in front of my garage. Not mine. Not my son's. And not anyone we knew, at least not that I could think of. That's when the flicker hit. You know that gut punch that doesn't land yet? Just hovers there, making your chest tighten? That was me. Standing on my own damn driveway, staring at a stranger's luxury car. And still, I told myself it was nothing. A neighbor maybe? Some mistake? Yeah, right. I didn't text Natalie. Didn't call. Just paid the driver, grabbed my bags, and walked around the side to the door by the garage. Quiet. Calm. Like I was coming home from just another trip. But in my chest, everything was starting to feel wrong. I stepped into the house. No lights. No sound. The kind of quiet that doesn't feel peaceful, just empty. I left my bags in the kitchen. Kicked off my shoes. And I started walking upstairs. Each step, I swear to God, it felt heavier than the last. I didn't hear anything. No voices. No TV. Just silence and a faint hum from the AC. The bedroom door was cracked open. And right there, just standing in that hallway, heart thudding like a drum, I knew something had changed. But I still went in. I still opened that door. And what I saw, that is where everything I thought I knew about my life started to fall apart. I opened the door. And man, I just froze. There she was. Natalie. My wife of 23 years. Lying on her side of the bed. Naked. Her arm wrapped around someone. A man. Also naked. Also fast asleep. Like he didn't have a damn care in the world. His head was tilted back against my pillow. Smiling. That smug, peaceful kind of smile you only get when you feel safe. Comfortable. Like you belong there. And her? She was snoring. Quiet. Gentle. The kind of snore I used to love hearing right before I fell asleep. Back when it meant she felt safe with me. when it meant I was home. Now it made my skin crawl. I stood there a long time. I don't even know how long. Could have been 10 seconds, could have been a full minute. Long enough for my brain to stop buffering and finally let the anger start creeping in. You ever get that kind of anger that's not loud? Not explosive? It's cold. Focused. I didn't scream. Didn't flip the lights. Didn't wake them up and go full TV drama. No swinging punches. No shouting. How could you? I just stood there and breathed. And then I started thinking. First thing I noticed was the guy's clothes. Neatly folded. Sitting on the same damn chair I've used to put my socks on for years. His shoes were tucked under it like he ing lived here. My heart wasn't pounding anymore. That was the strange part. My head was clearer than it had been in weeks. I backed out of the room without a sound. Went downstairs. Grabbed my phone. Opened the camera. Walked back up. And yeah, I took the damn pictures. Not for revenge. Not for social media. Just for me. For proof. Because I knew what was coming, and I wasn't about to let them gaslight me into thinking I imagined it. Snap. Snap. Flash off. Clean angles. Like a crime scene. Then I grabbed his clothes. All of it. Shirt, jeans, underwear, shoes. Even his stupid gold watch. Didn't say a word. Just walked back outside, popped the trunk of the Lexus, and tossed his stuff in. I sat in the driver's seat for a second. Took a breath. And thought, okay. What now? I didn't know. Not exactly. But I sure as hell knew what not to do. I wasn't gonna wake them up. I wasn't gonna cry on the kitchen floor. And I wasn't going to let that man walk out of my house in my clothes and drive away in his smug silence. Screw that. So I turned on the Lexus, put it in drive, and left. No clue where I was going. But I knew damn well I wasn't going back. Not that night. Probably not ever. I didn't go far that night. Found a cheap motel 15 minutes outside town. One of those highway spots with flickering signs and vending machines that haven't worked since the Clinton administration. Checked in using the guy's wallet. His name was Derek Milner. Driver's license said he lived on the east side, near the foothills. Business cards in the wallet said he was a senior sales manager at a Lexus dealership. Yeah. The irony wasn't lost on me. I paid cash. Used his ID just to make the front desk think I was someone who belonged in a Lexus. Then I tossed his wallet back in the glove compartment and went into the room. I didn't sleep. I lay on the stiff mattress, staring at the ceiling fan spinning like it was trying to hypnotize me into calm. It didn't work. My mind kept replaying that damn image, Natalie curled around Derek like he was her husband. That smile on his face. Her arm draped over him like they were on vacation. And me? I was the guy who paid the mortgage on that bed. Somewhere around 4 in the morning, I finally got up, took a shower, and started thinking straight. Not emotional thinking. Tactical thinking. This wasn't just about betrayal. It was about how they betrayed me. They were careless. Sloppy. Stupid enough to think I wouldn't come back early. Stupid enough to fall asleep together. In my house? That told me something. This wasn't some one-night slip-up. This was routine. And that pissed me off more than anything. So yeah, I made a decision. I was going to find Derek's house. Not to do anything crazy. I wasn't gonna beat the guy up or torch the car. But I wanted to see what kind of man she threw away 23 years for. I punched his address into the GPS, drove across town as the sun started rising, and pulled into a quiet neighborhood that looked like it belonged on a real estate brochure. Lawns trimmed to perfection. Kids' bikes leaning against garages. Every mailbox identical. His house was nice. Clean. Bigger than I expected. Lexus lifestyle, I guess. I parked a few houses down. Didn't want to freak anybody out. Then I sat there. Watching. Thinking. Still no tears. Still no rage. Just that tight feeling in my chest like something inside me was getting replaced, piece by piece, with stone. And then the porch light came on. A woman stepped outside. Probably early 40s. ponytail, wearing an oversized hoodie, and holding a coffee mug in both hands, like it was the only thing keeping her warm. She looks tired. Not just morning tired. Worn down. The kind of tired that lives behind your eyes when something's been wrong for a long time. I got out of the car and walked up slow. Calm. No sudden moves. She looked up. Eyes narrowed. "Can I help you?" I held up Derek's wallet. "I think we have something to talk about." She didn't say anything at first. Just stared at the ID in my hand, then at the Lexus behind me. Then back to me. And then, boom. Her whole face changed. She knew. She didn't need an explanation. Didn't need pictures. She knew that wallet and that car, and something in her gut must have confirmed what she'd probably been suspecting for weeks. Her lips tightened. Her eyes welled up, but she blinked it back. She stepped aside and opened the door. Inside, the house was silent. She motioned to the couch, then walked into the kitchen without saying a word. Came back with a cup of coffee and handed it to me. "I'm Rachel," she said. I nodded. "Edward. Yours?" I almost laughed. "Yeah. That's my wife he was with." She sat down across from me, still holding her own mug, fingers tied around the handle. "You catch them?" she asked. Just like that. "Middle of the night. In my bed?" She winced. "Jesus. I took pictures," I added. Rachel looked up quick. "Do not show me." I held up a hand. Wasn't planning to. She stared at the floor for a while. I didn't rush her. Eventually she spoke. "He's been off lately. Guarded. Hiding his phone. Said he had some conference and spoken yesterday. Left in a rush." I didn't believe him. I sipped the coffee. It was too sweet, but I wasn't about to complain. "Same here," I said. "Natalie told me to take my time in New York. Said I needed to decompress. Figured she was being thoughtful. Turns out she just wanted the house to herself." Rachel nodded slowly, then stood up. "You need anything else from me?" "No," I said. "I just needed to see who he was hurting besides me." She looked down at her mug. "You and me both." And that was it. No drama. No shouting. Just two strangers sitting in the wreckage of their lives, trying to make sense of the burn marks. I left the house with Derek's wallet still in my coat pocket and drove off, no destination in mind. Just motion. But something had shifted in me again. I wasn't just betrayed anymore. I was done. And I knew exactly what I was going to do next. I drove around for a while. No music. No GPS. Just roads I barely knew and a mind I knew too well. Eventually, I pulled into a park-and-ride lot off the highway. Shut off the engine. Sat in that Lexus while the morning traffic built around me. You ever sit so still it feels like the world's moving and you're not? That was me. After about 30 minutes, I remembered something Rachel had said. Derek told her he was headed to Spokane. And Natalie had said she was working from home all day. If they thought I was out of town, then they were probably still playing house right now. And I still had the damn car. That gave me an idea. I pulled out Derek's wallet again, checked the registration in the glove box. Bingo. Car was in Rachel's name. Figures. Tax reasons, probably. But it meant one thing very clearly. Derek had no legal claim to this car. Which gave me options. I could call the cops. Report it found. I could leave it in a bad part of town and let the universe handle it. I could drive it straight into a dealership and leave the keys on the counter. But none of those options felt quite right. Instead, I drove to the dealership listed on his business card. Nice place. Big glass windows. Modern as hell. The kind of showroom where they ask if you want espresso instead of just handing you a bottle of water. I parked the Lexus around the side, where the employees park. Out of view. Then I took his gym bag, his shoes, and his jacket out of the trunk. Yeah, I went full spite mode, and I walked right in the front door holding his stuff like I was delivering it to Lost and Found. Guy at the front desk smiled like I was a customer. "Hey there, can I help you?" I set the clothes on the counter. "Yeah." Can you give this to Derek Milner? He blinked. He's not in today. I nodded. Tell him Edward Barrett stopped by. He'll know why. Then I turned and walked out. Didn't even look back. When I got outside, I called a rideshare. Let someone else take the wheel while I thought. And that's when I called my lawyer, Fred Thomas. I've known him 20 years. He's the kind of guy who talks slow, but always lands the punch. Fred, I said when he answered, I need a divorce lawyer. He didn't ask why. He just said, I know a woman. She's smart. Doesn't waste time. You want me to set it up? Yeah. The sooner the better. You okay, Ed? I paused. No. But I will be. We hung up, and within the hour, I had an appointment for the next morning. The rest of the day, I kept a low profile. Got a motel room under my name this time. Ordered a sandwich I barely ate. Watched cable TV like it mattered. I didn't call Natalie. I didn't answer her texts either. Yeah, she'd started texting by afternoon. Nothing dramatic. Just a soft ping. Hey, everything okay? Thought you'd be flying today. Then a couple hours later. Let me know if you're staying another night. I stared at the screen for a long time. Typed out a dozen things I didn't send. In the end, I left it on read. Let her sit in it. That night, I called my son. Owen. 19. Smart kid. First year at Vermont Tech studying something with code and machines I pretend to understand. Hey, Dad. He answered, full energy. How'd it go? That hit me. I was supposed to call him and say we closed the deal. That we were celebrating. That everything was great. Instead, I just sat there with the phone against my ear, swallowing the lump in my throat. Dad? He said again. I took a breath. Hey, bud. Listen. There's something I need to talk to you about. Silence. And then, okay. What's going on? I didn't tell him the whole thing right there. Not yet. Just said that his mom and I were going through something serious, and that I'd explain in person this weekend. That I loved him. That none of it was his fault. He got quiet for a while. Then said, You okay? I said, I'm working on it. Need me to fly home? That almost broke me. No, kid. Stay focused. You've got finals coming up. I'm good. I promise. He didn't push. He's like me that way. We hung up. And I just sat there for a while, thinking about all the ways life can split in half. That was Thursday night. By Friday morning, Natalie still hadn't figured anything out. She texted again. Everything okay? Are you mad? Mad? No. I was just getting started. By Friday afternoon, she called. Not a text. Not a voicemail. A full-on call. I let it ring. Twice. Then answered flat. Hey! She sounded relieved. Edward. Thank God. I've been worried. You didn't call, you didn't text. I didn't know if your flight got canceled or... I made it back. Pause. Just long enough to hear her breath catch. You're home? Was. Not anymore. Another pause. Edward, what's going on? I let her sit in silence for a few seconds before I said anything. I think you should take the weekend to yourself, I said. Figure out what you're gonna say. To say about what? She asked, but her voice cracked halfway through. You know what? Another long silence. I could hear her shifting, like she was pacing the living room. Edward, look. I don't know what you think you saw, but... Natalie, I cut in, calm as stone. Don't do that. Don't insult me. Nothing for a few beats. Then quietly, can we meet? Can we talk? I've got plans. What kind of plans? The kind you don't need to know about anymore. Her breath caught again. She was about to say something else, maybe cry, maybe beg, but I hung up. I wasn't ready to hear it yet. She texted a few more times. I didn't answer. Instead, I went to meet the divorce attorney Fred had lined up for me. Anna Reinhardt, late 40s. Sharp, no nonsense. Wore a gray blazer like it was armor, and looked like she'd slit a throat with a well-worded motion. Her office wasn't flashy. Clean. Quiet. Professional. We sat down, and I told her everything, except the car. I figured we'd keep that little detail tucked away for now. She nodded through most of it. Took notes. When I told her I had photos, she looked up for the first time. "You have physical proof?" "Yeah." "And do you plan to use it?" "I don't want to humiliate her. I just want to protect what's mine." She smiled, just a little. "Good answer." Anna walked me through everything: assets, accounts, property. Said the sale money would stay mine as long as it stayed out of joint funds. Said we could fast-track the petition, file Monday, serve papers by Tuesday. "Do you want her to know it's coming?" she asked. I shook my head. "Let her be surprised." When we finished, she stood up and shook my hand. "You're handling this better than most," she said. I forced a smile. "I've had practice staying quiet when I'm angry." I left the office and drove back to the motel. The sun was setting. Everything felt hollow. You know what's weird? After all that rage and pain, you get this calm. This numb kind of acceptance. It doesn't mean it hurts less. It just means your body's conserving energy. And I knew I'd need that energy. Saturday morning, I made the call to Owen again. "Hey, kid," I said. "You free for lunch?" "Yeah." "Everything okay?" "We need to talk." "Just you and me." "Okay, you want me to come to Boise?" "No," I said. "I'll drive to you." It was a 5-hour drive. Didn't matter. I needed to look my son in the eye and tell him the truth. Halfway through the drive, I stopped for gas and checked my phone. Natalie had left a voicemail. I didn't play it. Didn't need to. Because whatever she had to say, it was too late. And she knew it. I pulled into the lot behind Owen's dorm around noon on Saturday. He was already outside waiting. That's just the kind of kid he is. Always shows up early. Always scanning the horizon like he's already thinking 5 moves ahead. He saw me get out of the car and gave a small wave. I could tell something was off. His smile didn't quite reach his eyes. We went to a little diner 2 blocks from campus. One of those old places with vinyl booths and servers who call you on. We ordered. Barely touched the food. "All right," he said finally, leaning forward. "What's going on, Dad?" I didn't sugarcoat it. "Your mom's been seeing someone else." He blinked. Just stared. No reaction for a second. Like the words hadn't landed yet. "What?" "She's been cheating," I said. "I found out 2 nights ago." He leaned back in the booth, arms crossed. The way he used to do when he was a kid and didn't want to hear something. But he kept listening. "I came home early. Caught them. At the house." That one hit him. I saw it. He didn't say anything for a while. Just picked at the edge of a paper napkin. Then, "Who is it?" "Some guy. Car salesman. Lexus dealership." "Doesn't matter." "Jesus." "Yeah." "You sure?" "Yeah, Owen. I'm sure." I was standing in the room. He let out a breath. Like someone had punched him in the gut. How long? I don't know yet. Doesn't feel like it started yesterday. He nodded slowly. And then something I didn't expect, his eyes started to water. Not big, loud sobbing. Just quiet shock. "This doesn't make sense," he said. "You guys seem fine." I thought so too. "And now what?" "I filed for divorce. You'll be getting pulled into it sooner or later. So I wanted you to hear it from me." He nodded again. Still quiet. Then he looked at me, finally making eye contact. "You okay?" That one almost broke me. I held his gaze and nodded. "I will be." We sat for a while after that. Didn't talk much. But he didn't leave my side either. That's the thing about Owen. He's not loud, but he's there when it matters. I dropped him off an hour later. As I drove away, my phone buzzed. A text from Natalie. "Can we please talk today?" "Please." I didn't answer. I needed a few more hours to be the version of me that could sit across from her without flipping the table. Back at the motel, I took a shower, changed clothes, poured myself a bad cup of coffee from the lobby machine. Then I texted her. Tomorrow. Center Cafe. 4 p.m. That was the place we first met. 25 years ago. Neutral ground, I guess. She responded immediately. I'll be there. Please, Edward. That was all she said, but I could feel the desperation in it. And honestly, I didn't care. I'd spent the last 23 years giving her every piece of me. Trust, time, loyalty, patience. And all it took was one man, one night, and one bed that wasn't hers to burn it to the ground. I looked out the motel window for a long time that night. Didn't sleep. Didn't need to. Because I knew exactly what tomorrow would be. The beginning of the end. I got there early. Center Cafe hadn't changed in 20 years. Same warped wooden tables. Same smell of burnt espresso and cinnamon. Place looked tired, but honest. I picked a booth in the corner, facing the entrance. She walked in 5 minutes later. Natalie. Hair pinned up, makeup done just enough. Trying to look composed. She spotted me, hesitated, then made her way over. Hi, she said. I nodded. No smile. No pleasantries. She sat, looked down at her hands for a few seconds, then back at me. I wasn't expecting you, she said. That night. I know. Silence. Then she spoke again. Voice soft, cracking at the edges. I messed up. I leaned forward. How long? She blinked. Edward. How long? She looked away. Took a breath. 4 months. I stared. She corrected herself. 5, maybe. It didn't start right away. We met at the dealership when I was looking at SUVs. He flirted. I ignored it. Then, I don't know. You do know. She nodded. Yeah, I do. Another pause. I let her speak next. It was stupid, she said. It wasn't love. It was, I don't know, attention. Flattery. I felt seen again. You were always working. Always tired. And I just don't. She stopped. I know what I did, she said quietly. And I know you saw it. And I know I have no right to ask for anything, but, please, let me explain. I tilted my head. Explain what? That you let a stranger sleep in our bed? That you didn't even bother to clean up the scene? Her face went pale. Did you even think about me? I asked. Yes, she said instantly. That makes it worse. I didn't plan it, Edward. No one plans a slow betrayal. They just stop caring who gets hurt. She looked like she was about to cry. I didn't care. Was he the only one? Silence. I could feel my pulse in my ears. Natalie. She looked at me, and I already knew. There were others, she said. A few. Over the years. I was lonely. I sat back. Let it hit. I didn't shout. Didn't slam the table. Just let the silence fill the space between us. 3, she said. Total. Including him. I nodded. So it wasn't a mistake. It was a pattern. I'm sorry. Yeah, I said. So am I. She wiped her face with a napkin. Tried to pull herself together. I don't want a divorce, she said. Well, I said, you're getting one. She reached across the table. I pulled my hands back. Edward, please. You killed it, Natalie. Whatever us was, you strangled it. With months of lies and years of pretending. She blinked. Swallowed hard. I still love you, she whispered. I believed her. But I also knew it didn't matter. You'll be served this week, I said. I'm not dragging it out. I want it clean. I want it fast. And I want you out of the house by the end of the month. She didn't say anything. Just sat there, breathing through her nose, trying not to fall apart in public. We both stared at our untouched drinks for a while. Then I stood up. You made your choices, I said. Now I'm making mine. And I walked out. Didn't look back. Didn't need to. because that was the moment I stopped being her husband and started being free. Sunday night came and went. I didn't hear from her again. No calls. No texts. Just silence. Honestly, it felt like air coming back into my lungs. By Monday morning, the divorce petition was ready. Anna sent it to my phone to review. I skimmed through it over bad motel coffee, signed the damn thing, and sent it back. "You want to serve her officially?" she asked on the phone. "Yeah. Let's not wait." She hired a process server. Local. Quick. By lunchtime, I got a text from Anna. "She's been served." Part of me expected Natalie to blow up. Part of me hoped she would. But she didn't. At least not to me. Instead, she showed up to work late that day, according to a mutual friend who still hadn't realized we were done. Told her boss she wasn't feeling well. Sat in her office for half the afternoon with the door closed. Guess it's hard to type contracts when your marriage just got handed to you in a manila envelope. Meanwhile, Derek, he didn't show up to work either. I didn't find out until later, but apparently Rachel changed the locks, took the kids to her sister's place, and left a note on the kitchen counter that said, "You can pick up your stuff when I say so. If you try to enter without me here, I'll call the cops." He did try. She wasn't bluffing. He got caught trying to climb in through the back window that same afternoon, shirtless, wearing my old sweatpants from the gym bag I left in his car. Cop showed up, tackled him barefoot on the lawn. I saw the mugshot online the next day. It was glorious. I sent it to Anna. She wrote back, "Karma's punctual." Couldn't argue with that. Tuesday morning, I met with my real estate agent. Told him I wanted the house listed as soon as possible. Didn't even walk through it first. I just signed the paperwork, gave him a code for the garage keypad, and said, "Sell it." I didn't want to walk back in there. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Later that afternoon, Owen called. "I talked to Mom." I sat down. "Yeah. She told me everything." Well, her version of it. Let me guess. She was confused, lonely, and I was emotionally distant. Pretty much. I laughed. "She using that script already, huh?" "She said she still loves you." "Too bad she didn't remember that when she was sneaking around." "Yeah," he said. "I told her that too." I paused. "How are you doing, bud?" "I'm mad," he said. "And I'm embarrassed. I feel like people are gonna find out and look at our family like it's broken." I sighed. "Owen, families break all the time. It doesn't make you less. Doesn't make me less. And it sure as hell doesn't make us finished." He was quiet. Then he said something I won't forget. "You're handling this like a grown man, Dad. And I want to be like that someday." That almost cracked me. "Thanks, kid," I said. "You're already better than I ever was at your age." We hung up, and I sat there thinking about that. You never know what kind of man you are until you're standing knee-deep in something awful, and still find a way to move forward without turning bitter. That night, I poured myself a drink, looked at the Lexus keys still sitting on the motel dresser, and made a decision. Time to give it back. So I called Rachel. She picked up on the first ring. "Hey," she said. "Been waiting for this call. You want your car back?" "Eventually. But for now, keep it." "Seriously?" "Derek's not going anywhere. I changed every password, locked down every card, and froze the accounts he was using. He's crashing at a buddy's place and whining to anyone who'll listen." I chuckled. "Guy sounds like a treat. He's a used car salesman," she said. The used part was always the most accurate. That made me laugh harder than I had in days. "You doing okay?" I asked. "Getting there," she said. "You?" "Yeah. Divorce is in motion. House is going on the market. Son's in my corner. Well, look at us. Burning it all down and walking through the fire like pros." "Guess so." A beat of silence. Then she said, "You ever feel like getting coffee and talking to someone who knows what it's like to be betrayed by an idiot? You've got my number." "Same goes for you," I said. We hung up. I stared at the ceiling for a while, arms behind my head. Everything was falling apart. But for the first time in a long time, it didn't feel like the end. The closing on the house happened faster than I expected. Turns out when you're not emotionally attached to four walls anymore, it's easier to let them go. The buyer was some real estate investor. Paid cash. Wanted to flip it or rent it out. I didn't care. I signed the papers from Anna's office and never even drove by the place again. Natalie stayed quiet during the sale. We communicated through lawyers. She wanted to keep a few things. Furniture, some kitchen stuff, a painting we bought in Santa Fe years ago. I didn't fight her on any of it. Take the couch, take the blender, take the memories. I was done. The money from the company sale hit my separate account the same week. 7 figures. Clean. Untouched. I sat in a new bank lobby holding a folder with more zeros than I ever thought I'd see in one place, and all I could think was, now what? I didn't want another house. Not yet. I didn't want to live in a motel forever either. So I booked a flight. No plan, no destination with meaning. Just a ticket out west. Rented a car, drove through Utah, hiked some trails. Ate alone, slept better than I had in months. I didn't check email. Didn't answer calls. Didn't think about Natalie, except when I reminded myself not to. After a few weeks on the road, I went back to Boise just long enough to clear out the storage unit I'd rented. Gave away most of it. Kept one box of old photos, a few personal files, and my wedding ring. Threw the ring in a drawer I never opened again. Owen and I talked weekly. He was doing fine. Classes, friends, normal stuff. I could tell he was still upset, but he was channeling it the right way. Said he started running more. Said it helped. You should try it, he told me. So I did. Started slow. Jogging on hotel treadmills, gasping like a man twice my age. But it felt good. Felt like control. I bought a decent pair of shoes. Some gear. Started tracking miles. Then signed up for a 10K 3 months out. Gave myself a goal. And you know what? It helped. Every mile I ran, it felt like I was putting distance between the man I was and the one I was becoming. No pity. No bitterness. Just sweat, breath, forward motion. One morning after a run, I called Rachel. We hadn't talked in a while. Figured I owed her a check-in. She answered with a tired laugh. You still alive? Barely, I said. Just got back from a 5-miler. My lungs hate me. Well, mine hate me because I picked up smoking again, she said. Temporarily. Divorce stress. Can't argue with the logic. We talked for about 20 minutes. She said the kids were okay. Derek was trying to weasel his way back in, but she was holding firm. He sent flowers last week, she said. Like we're in high school. I laughed. What did you do with them? Gave them to the neighbor. Her dog peed on them. Perfect. Anyway, she said, you sound better. I feel better, I said. You look better? I look like hell, but it's a stronger kind of hell. She laughed at that. If you're ever near Denver, come say hi. I might, I said, if I ever stop running. We hung up. I stood there for a while, holding the phone, watching people in the park walk by with dogs, strollers, coffees in hand. You know what I realized? I wasn't angry anymore. Not at Natalie. Not at Derek. Not even at myself. I had survived it. Walked straight through the ugliest week of my life, and came out the other side with my dignity intact. That night, I booked a flight to Peru. There was a hiking tour along the Andes I'd read about. Supposed to be brutal. Challenging. Exactly what I needed. I didn't ask anyone's permission. Didn't check in with anyone. Just clicked, confirm, and packed a bag. And as the plane took off the next morning, I sat back in my seat, window down, coffee in hand, and smiled. Because for the first time in a long, long time, I wasn't heading home. I was heading forward. 2 years later, Owen got married. Small ceremony just outside Denver. He and his wife, Anna, sweet girl, solid head on her shoulders, Didn't want anything huge. Just family, close friends, some decent food, and music that didn't suck. I flew in the day before. Still running. Still lean. Still sleeping better than I ever did during the marriage. At the reception, I watched Owen dance with his bride under those dumb string lights everyone uses now. And I'll admit, I got a little misty-eyed. But not in a sad way. More like pride mixed with peace. He turned out okay. Better than okay. Across the room, I spotted Natalie. Yeah, she was there. Owen invited her, of course. I told him it was fine. I'm in it. She came alone. Wore a navy blue dress I'd seen before, probably something from the back of the closet, more reserved than stylish. Hair done, makeup careful, smile stiff. She didn't look bad. She looked like someone holding herself together with tape. We didn't talk. Didn't need to. She gave me a glance once, across the tables. I nodded. That was it. I heard through Owen that she never really bounced back. Moved into a small apartment near her office. Tried dating but never found anything that stuck. Worked a lot. Got quieter. Derek? Last I heard, he moved out of state. Tried to restart his life somewhere less humiliating. I guess Rachel made sure he left with nothing but his shirts and excuses. Good for her. She was there too, by the way. Rachel. Her daughter was the flower girl. Owen had stayed in touch after everything went down. She and I said hello, hugged briefly. Nothing romantic. Just mutual survival. Funny thing is, we could laugh about it now. The betrayal. The mess. The absolute absurdity of it all. That's what time does when you use it right. It turns scars into stories. Later that night, I stood near the bar while Owen gave his toast. Talked about love, trust, screwing up and making things right. The usual. I watched Natalie as he spoke. Her face softened a little. I wondered what was going through her head. Regret? Nostalgia? Or maybe just the dull ache of realizing what you lost when you finally saw it clearly. Then Owen raised his glass and said something I'll never forget. I just want to thank my parents, both of them, for showing me what love looks like, even when it ends. I didn't flinch. Because he was right. Love had ended. And it didn't make what we had worthless. It just made it finished. After the cake, I slipped out early. Hugged Owen. Kissed Anna on the cheek. Told them I loved them both, and not to worry if I left quietly. Out in the parking lot, I climbed into my rental. A plain black SUV. Nothing gold. Nothing flashy. Before pulling away, I looked in the rearview mirror one last time. Saw Natalie standing near the exit, talking to someone. Her back turned. And I felt nothing. Not anger. Not sadness. Not even relief. Just quiet. The kind you earn after fighting the longest battle of your life and finally laying the sword down. I drove out of that place with a full tank, a steady heart, and no unfinished business. That part of my life? Done.